What is the role of institutions and leaders like professors or managers to address imposter syndrome? We've been talking a fair amount about what individuals can do themselves, but is there something that institutions, companies can do to recognize and help people address it?
Where do I get started on this? I think, companies benefit from this, right? Because if you are over-functioning and overworking and overperforming, they're benefiting. They're in essence sometimes getting 2 or 3 people for the price of one. And so I do think there's a lot of inside the system that encourages this level of imposter. I actually was doing a training recently and someone was saying, look, I'm working on trying to have more balance in my life and I want to do an adequate job. And I asked my manager, can I just do an adequate job and not do exceeds expectations? But then their comp was, there's ties to their comp and their bonus structure that if they don't exceed, they don't get anything. So if you just do a good enough job at your job, which we're always telling people who have perfectionism, like it's focused on the good enough, like, if you just do good enough, you don't get additional compensation. So you have to constantly be exceeding to be able to reach certain comp norms. I do think there's a lot in our systems that really have to change so that we don't reinforce this. Don't burn people out and use them for what they have and then discard them. We have to be more thoughtful about the workers in our system and how we take care of them and how we create longevity for their careers. And I think there's a lot we can do around management and organizations to change these systems that are reinforcing it, ordinarily.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the other sort of suggestion that I would make, and this is a more difficult one because it really speaks to culture, is creating an environment where it's okay to acknowledge that one has made a mistake, to acknowledge that one is not perfect, and this should come from the leaders, from the people, the managers. And this is a bit. Imagine what it would be like for an employee to have a manager to sort of say, you know what, I messed up. I dropped the ball here. I made a mistake. And, it's okay. We're human. Imagine the impact that would have on employees when their managers acknowledge that sometimes they make mistakes as well. Now,
yeah, and I'll take it one step further, which is and then do a post-mortem on the mistake so everyone can learn from it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And have such a more of a growth mindset perspective as opposed to a fixed mindset perspective about people's capacities and capabilities.
Now exactly. Now we all know that changing culture is easier said than done. Culture tends to be among the most difficult things to sort of try to change. But if that could happen, it could go such a long ways. I mean, if companies are really serious about being responsive to the needs of their employees, this is one of the things that they absolutely should do.
Yeah, the well-being of their employees. Are a lot of talk about well-being and mental health, and there are correlates to imposter syndrome to mental health outcomes: burnout, depression, anxiety. If you want to reduce that in your staff, reduce some of the ways in which you are organized to encourage them to do this.